Hello everyone, welcome back to the Rising Star Casino Paddle Wheel Podcast. I am now joined by Jimmy McCracken, Assistant General Manager. Jimmy?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
So you taught me how to play that game.
Yes.
And I've watched the video 10 times.
And you've probably won a lot of money since then.
I wouldn't say that. But teach me how to play this one, because this one is by far the most popular game, in my opinion, that I have customers call.
Absolutely. So in the past we talked about craps, and this is a little different spin on craps. Most people call it crapless craps. It's also called craps no more.
No more.
So there's more numbers that you can wager on. A lot of the game is very similar to the other one, but you're right. This is the popular game in our market in this region of the country, everywhere. All of our competitors have it. We've got it. We got it several years ago. We were the first, and it's just been explosive. Everyone really enjoys it. There's a lot of excitement around this game. So let me start off with talking about the pass line.
Okay.
So on craps, you have a pass line, and on crapless, you have a pass line. On regular craps, 7-11 wins, 2, 3, or 12 loses. However, on this game, you cannot lose on the come out roll.
Okay.
You cannot lose, all right? So either A, 7 rolls and you win, or B, one of these numbers roll and that becomes the point.
Okay.
All right? So I don't have anything to mark it up with, so I'm just going to use a green chip, right? So if you had rolled the dice and you had rolled a 9, and now that's the point. Now your goal is to make a 9 before you make a 7. None of the other numbers will impact this, right? So it's a 9, you win, 7, you lose. Anything else is just a number. Now, before we get very far, I want to talk about odds. So, a lot of old-time dealers will call this free odds, right? And it's true. That's exactly what it is. You don't have to pay any vig, anything to place this bet once you've got this on the pass line, right? So you get true odds here. So, if that 9 rolls, you're going to get 3-2. You're going to get even money here, and 3-2, right? Okay. So for 20, you win 30, right? And different numbers pay different odds, right? So let's say you were out on a point of 10, and that same $20 back here, again, look at this. You win even money here, but here's the great part. You win 2-1 back here.
So you get more money.
Right. The harder the number is to make, the more it pays, right? So for example, like the 9, there's like an 11% chance that you're gonna make that when it's your point, right? And then on the 10, you're under 10%, right? Right? So it's a harder number to make. But wow, what happens when you come out and now you've thrown a 12, right? On that game, on regular craps, this would have lost. But it doesn't on this game, right? It stays in play. And so now you're up against the big chore of throwing another 12. But when you do, now you get 6-1 for your odds. So let's say you put a quarter there, you're gonna get 150 and then 10 here,
wow.
Right?
Okay.
Right? Now if you was on the 11, just to make it quick, it's 3-1. So you'd have got 75 for 25 wager, right? So that is kind of where this game is so much more exciting than the other game.
So the odds increased on the harder numbers.
The odds increased, and over on the other game, if we were out on a point of 8 and somebody rolls an 11, generally not much happens unless somebody had a little prop action. So it's almost like, you know, you just kind of skipped a beat. A number rolled, but nothing really happened. But on this game, you're very likely to have somebody with action on this, you know, and so they're excited. And especially when you get repeat numbers, you know, wasn't that many days ago we had a big hand on a Friday night, and they threw more threes that night than I think any of us had seen.
Okay, and
You
that's
know?
what ended up making it go.
Yeah,
Was all
yeah, and I mean there was thousands of dollars paid out on the number 3. You know, so very exciting to be able to wager all these different numbers. And then another key factor to this game is you can't lose on the come out, right? So some of the numbers are hard to make, like we talked about, like the 12 or the 2, but you can't lose on the come out.
Okay.
So now I'll tell you a little bit how I see people play this game, all right? So you just rolled, and you rolled a 6, so now you're out on a point of 6, right? So they're absolutely going to want some odds. Always take advantage of those free odds, right? And then they're going to want to cover as many of these numbers as their bankroll will allow. You know, some people play with thousands of dollars, some people play with a few hundred, right? So, for example, you know, let's say the high-end numbers seem to have been high. Right? That's what's rolling, right? So then a person will want to get a wager in on all these numbers, right? Now I left some of them off because maybe my bankroll, I can't afford to cover everything all at once, right? And you'll see some of these numbers, I put a little different amount on. There's some numbers that need to be wagered in even increments for the math to work correctly. And the dealer will always help a person. You know, if you drop down $25 and say, give me the 8, they would probably say, do you want it 24 or 30, right? 30, drop me another nickel, right? So they'll help you, right? And so now, as things hit, and we're gonna say all this stuff down here is a buy bet. So you have place bets and buy bets. And buy bets are simply a way to kind of take advantage of the same odds as you get right here, but you have to pay a little juice to do it, right? Now we don't charge juice up front, or vigorish, a lot of people call it. We pay it, you pay it here when you win, so you don't risk anything extra. So a lot of places, if you wanted to buy the 10 for a quarter, it would cost you $26, the dollar vig up front. 5%, right? So the dollar vig would be up front, and then when it hits, if you want to stay there, you owe another $1. But here, nothing up front, it's just 25, and then when it hits, if you want to stay up, then it's $1.
And then it's $1.
Right. And those dollars doesn't seem like they make that much difference, but you know, if a person plays for 4 or 5 hours, that's a lot of dollars.
Absolutely.
You know, and of course,
you said it resets every time it hits, right?
Yeah. And of course, if this guy over here is betting 100, well then he's paying $5 every time. So not having to pay that up front is great. Okay, so now remember we're out on a point of 6. You got plenty of action out here on the layout, and now you're looking for some numbers. So let's say the 10 rolls, right? So that gets 2 to 1 because it's a buy bet, all right? I'll show you some of these up here, all right? And I'm gonna pay you that, and then I'm gonna ask you for $1, all right? And just throw it down on the layout, right? And that pays for that, and I'll give that to the box person. Now we're all set and we're ready to roll again, right? Let's just say 10, it's 10's lucky day, right? That number rolls again, right? So another $1, and now, boy, you really want to start thinking about what you want to do. Like, do you want to press some of these numbers, or do you want to get invested down here, right? So,
so if I said I wanted to go 10 again because it's hot,
yeah,
and I
sure,
just
right.
do that.
You throw that down, I'll make you some change, right? And then I might even say, you want to get on that 5 while we're at it? And you say,
Sure.
yeah, I'll put that 15 on the 5. And I'll say, okay, drop me $1 so I can make it even, you know? I really wouldn't let you buy it for 15, but let's, or 16, but let's just pretend that that's set as a buy, okay? So now you're just looking for numbers, right? 8 rolls, boom. 35, same bet, nope, you say press, all right? Look, I pressed. But you gotta remember, you've already gotten $75 of your money back, 80 with this one. You know,
and I'm pressing
right,
more
so you're not that invested in this roll, and what you're really looking for is a long roll, right? Because then you start, most people press as they go, and then the payouts get larger. And I'm going to tell you about something else. I'll jump gears for just a moment. This is called bonus craps. This is a side bet that you bet when we're coming out, so we wouldn't have a point established, right? So if you just threw $5 on each one of those numbers, then you would give it to the dealer, and the dealer would set it up, right? So now what you're playing for is the all tall, the all small, and to make them all.
Make them all.
Right? So those numbers are represented here, right? And so here's your talls. So remember we threw an 8, or we pretended we threw an 8, right? So we'd cover that up. Well, we know we throwed a couple 10s, right? So now we're looking for a 9, 11, and a 12 in no particular order. And when this happens and you fill up this, now you get 34 to 1, right? So it's 170, I think, if my math's right. 170 here, right? And now, you know, there's more excitement. You just made the alls, and you didn't only make it for yourself, you made it for everybody around the table that's betting
34 to 1, that's big.
Right. And so then next you're working on the smalls, that end. And look, if you're lucky enough to do that, that's another 34 to 1. And if you have done both, then you automatically have done this. You have made them all. Right? That's 175 to 1, right? Like $875. If you're playing green action, that's almost $4,400 for that one payout.
Just one,
right? You see how this game can get very addictive.
Oh yeah.
And very there's just so much excitement. There's so much going on. There's, you know, every number that rolls can interest a different person around the table in a different way. You know? Now maybe you get that phone call in your head and go, boy, 12 is coming. Right? So I'm gonna press this 12, right? And then I want some extra action on the 12. So I'm gonna say, give me a $10 12 out here, right? Now what's the difference between these two 12s?
That's 30 to 1 down there, right?
Right. And this one would pay 6 to 1. Why do they pay different? Well, I'll tell you. This one is, we refer to it as an all-day bet, right? The only thing that will impact this number is a 12 or a 7. 12 you win, 7 you lose. Out there, those are called one-roll bets.
Okay.
Right? So that $10 is just on the next roll of the dice. So if a 12 comes, you win. If anything else happens, that money loses. That's why that pays so much more. But if you got a lucky number, or you just got that feeling, you know, I see people, you know, load up different things, right? So all of a sudden that hits, that's gonna be 300 out there for a $10 wager. And then this is 6 to 1, right? So now you just picked up another 300 here, right? That's a heck of a little payday.
Sitting pretty good.
Right. So now I've done a lot of talking. What kind of questions do you have about this game?
So you brought up down there the 12 down there.
Sure.
So right below it, there's a 12 down there. High horn, is that what it says?
Yeah, horn high.
Is that
Yeah.
Is that can you bet that, and that's just one roll too, or?
Yes, that's a one roll bet, but the horn highs. So first let me tell you about a horn, and then we'll add the high part to it.
Okay.
Right? So if a person, let's just keep it simple, said, give me a $4 horn, right? Now, that is them saying, I want $1 on the 2 craps, $1 on 3, $1 on 12, and $1 on the 11. The yo, right? So it's way easier to say, give me a horn bet, and it covers all those things.
And then what's the odds on that?
Right, so it depends on what number hits, right?
Okay.
If the 12 or the 2 hits, it pays 30 to 1. But you gotta remember, that's kind of how it is. So if the 12 rolled, you'd get 30, but if you want to stay up, but you'll lose this $3.
Gotcha.
Right? Now, and if the 3 craps or the 11 rolled, those are 15 to 1, right? So now let's talk a little bit about the horn high. The horn high was kind of developed because a lot of people like to wager in $5 increments or in units of 5, such as the green, which is $25, the red, are $5. So if you said, give me a $5 horn high 12, you're really saying, give me $2 on the 12 and $1 on everything else. The horn bet and high on the 12, right? Same way on the 11. If you said, give me a horn high 11, you want $1 on each of the horn numbers and throw the extra $1 on the 11. So now if the 11 rolls, that's 15 to 1, that'll be $30 minus 3, 27, right? And then some other wagers out here that are very popular are hard way bets, right? And so that just indicates that you're gonna bet that the 10, let's just bet them all, right? So now you're saying that when the 10 comes or any of those other numbers, they will come the hardest way that you have to throw them, right? So 5-5 is the hard way to make a 10 because the other ways are 6-4, 4-6,
yes,
right? And so this isn't a one roll bet, right? So the only way it wins is if 10 comes 5-5. If 10 comes but it's 6-4, 4-6, you lose, or if 7 rolls, you lose. None of the other numbers will impact this. So this can stay there all day until one of those action numbers happen.
Okay.
Right?
And that's not just one roll, like I'm
Right.
rolling, I'm going to keep
Right.
rolling, and
Yeah.
then
So if you put all that out there right now, and then the next roll was a 3, nothing happened.
Okay.
Right?
The
Then-
only thing that's going to take that, if I hit one of those numbers or if I 7 out,
Right.
7 out, they'll
Right.
take it off.
Right.
Okay.
So let's say 4-2 rolled. Well, this loses because it came, but it didn't come the hard way, but the other numbers are not impacted. So you're probably going to get a payout from here, right? Because you probably got action here, right? In this case, it's your pass line bet. So 6 came 4-2. You get paid there, right? Because your pass line is betting on the point of 6, but your hard way lost. But look, you only lost a nickel, right?
Okay.
And you picked up all that, so you would probably pick up that money and throw that bet right back in and say, put me back on the hard 6, right? A lot of action, a lot of different ways to go for sure. And while we're talking about props, a lot of people always ask me, what does C&E mean, right? And that's just short for craps 11, right? And it's way more popular of a bet on regular craps because now I'm helping to protect my pass line bet, right? So if a craps number rolls, that's going to pay 3 to 1. Let me grab some more chips. All right. And so you're going to lose this $10. I'm going to take it on the other game, right? But you're going to get 15, so you just
Okay.
a little bit like insurance,
I gotcha.
right? And 11 pay 7, right? So, but you don't see as much action on that bet on this game because again, that big extra bonus of playing this game, you can't lose on the come out roll,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
All right. So what about? I know you've played a little bit of craps. What do the other players at the table? What do they say to you, or what kind of looks you get if you say a 7?
Oh, you never do it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. So we do have a couple nicknames for 7. You know, Big Red is one of them, right? So, or sometimes they, just say that bad number, but Big Red, the bad number, right? So you never want to say 7 when you're actually playing. People are a little superstitious, and I understand. Right?
Very true. I
Right.
mean,
and you want to watch the dice. You don't want to stick your hands down in front of the dice, you know, and just and block somebody's roll, because then if that bad number comes,
you're the reason.
You're the reason, right? Right? Yeah. I know on our bonus offers that we send some of our patrons, you know, we allow them to play that on this game, those paper offers, right? And so the field bet is where they play that, right? So the field bet is kind of has got a bad rap for being not that great of a bet, but a field bet is covers 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? So it covers a bunch of this, but what numbers are not there?
6 and the 8,
The
which
6
are
and
the
the 8,
easier ones,
and
right?
the 5, right? And then the most importantly, the 7.
Yeah.
Right? So, but from an odds perspective, that's not a terrible bet. And you get double if you roll the 2, or triple if you roll the 12. So that also helps to really even out, you know, the odd disparity there.
And
right?
that's one roll until you make the point, right? It's not just one and then you're done, right?
Well, something's going to happen every single roll out there, right? Because either A, you'll roll a number that's out there, and let's say you roll the 2, well, then you'll get paid double. Now, that is called a self-service bet. All this back here is the dealer's responsibility to set it up, and that's why I kept having you drop your money here, and then I pick it up and set it up. But out here, the dealer, the player is responsible for their own bet. So now that just rolled. Now, if you just leave it there, then it's going to play the next hand. Now, hopefully, as a dealer, I'm going to notice that. Oh, Corey, you want to stay out there? Right? You go, oh, no, right? So maybe you want to take your winnings, but then leave that out there.
Leave it out there.
Right? Because now maybe the next roll is at 6, and guess what? You know, it's going to lose. So something is going to happen out there every roll.
Every roll.
Right.
Okay.
Every roll. Yeah. And there's a lot more components to this game, but, you know, in a short little conversation, I think, you know,
I mean, I probably get it a lot better because I watch that video so much, but this game does feel like the game to play, because like you said, that pass line, there's no 7 and 11 right at it. This is by far the most popular game at our property, and I would say probably at most of our competitors, for sure. It's a lot of fun. It's a good group game, because even if you don't know people, if you're playing by yourself, you know, and you catch a little hot hand, guess what? You're probably going to be friends with everybody on the table by the time it's done. So it's a lot of fun. Okay. Well, I appreciate the tutorial again.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next game.
All right.
You got anything else to add?
No, I don't think so, but come see us at Rising Star. Don't be afraid to ask a dealer for assistance, or the box person, the supervisor sitting here. They're always happy to help. There's a stick person there. So I said this in my last video, if you're a new player and the spots are available, right here next to this dealer or right there next to that dealer are great places, because Corey can have a soft conversation with me and ask questions without maybe making himself feel like, you know, he don't know what's going on. He can say, you know, hey, if I want to bet that 9, how much do I bet on it? Right? And that's all, it just has to be an even number, right? As opposed to hollering across the table, you know. So yeah, come on down and see us. It's a great time.